Hey there, friends. This is Bill MacDonald. Today I'm going to talk to you about bar graphs, and I'm going to show you two different ways to do them as quickly as possible. The first way is going to be the more difficult way that we'll be transitioning to starting next year, where a maximum of 75% of the points in subjects and grade levels will be multiple choice, which means we could have up to anywhere from 25% open-ended constructed responses uh, up to any amount that the state chooses. Hopefully, they're going to stick to the 75% multiple choice and only 25% constructed responses or open-ended responses, essay responses. So that would be a 3-to-1 ratio, that 3/4 of the questions would stay multiple choice, and that they would only lower that after you guys have had a chance to practice. So what I've done for third and fourth grade so far on both 2019 and the 2021 test is give you a question for each of the 10 most difficult questions in 2019 and the 13 most difficult questions in 2021 in both open-ended and multiple choice formats so that you can practice them whichever way you prefer with your kids. I'm going to show you both ways, and I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. So without further ado, let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen from my nice document camera that somebody gave me. And I just want to show you this really quickly. This is my new advanced folder. Whenever we have a constructed response, it will be in one of these 10 ways that you see here on my ELAR writing folder, which also will apply to math, social studies, and science. Anything above the red line means that reading could be using one of these types of constructed responses. Now, the first one for everybody is that regular multiple choice, where for this year you have the option for paper and pencil tests. It would be A, B, C, D for odd, and F, G, H, J for all even. And on line tests, we're hearing that they're just sticking to A, B, C, D, whether it's odd or even, but I have a question mark in case they change that this year. Now, because this is a math question we're going to look at, I want you to go past all the reading only constructed responses and look at number 10. It says graph responses, including a bar, a point, a function graph, and or a solution sentence. So we're going to be practicing a bar graph. All right. So if you look at my question 11, and the reason it's question number 11 is the first 10 are from 2021 in both open-ended and multiple choice formats. So you will see that I will show it to you very quickly in both ways. It says, and I'm going to focus on this part right here, draw a bar graph that matches the number of feet jumped by each athlete. So here are the athletes, and in this open-ended format, they've gone ahead and given you numbers, and so I've assigned a color to each person doing the long jump. Now, it says the name of the constructed type on all of mine for you. On the multiple choice question from third grade, it came from question number 6, and it only got 51% correct. It was reporting category 4 for those of you from Texas. It was student expectation 3.8A, a readiness standard, but it's basically graphing And I think what was hard for some kids is whenever they label each line, but they leave one blank or the bar stops in between a line. So the first step that your kids need to do when they're trying to determine um, how to draw a bar graph or interpret one is to look and see how the lines are set up. And so once you look at it, you can say, oh, for each line, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Each line is going to equal 4 feet because in the title it says number of feet jumped. Since each line is 4 feet, that means anything that stops between a line would be half of 4, which would 2. So half of a line would be 2 feet. So I've assigned Jerry blue, Andrea green, Gilbert purple, Freddie orange, and Sam pink. All right. So since each lines, excuse me, is 4 feet, then we would get an easy way to figure out how to get to each person initially would be to take the 4 that we know that everyone is going to be passing and multiplying it by a factor to get to the product that's mentioned for them. So Jerry would move 3 lines to get to 12. Jerry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. Andrea, 5 lines to get to 20. 4 times 5 is 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gilbert, 4 lines to get to 16. Gilbert is purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, because 4 times 4 is 16. And here's where it gets a little bit harder for some kids. Freddie is 26, so 4 times 6 is 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I went and made a little wall there to separate so you can see. And then it's 2 more because 24 plus 2 is 26. So we're going to go half a line. So I left this last one unfinished for you so we can finish the pink. Since Sam is 22, 4 times 5 is 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we'll do is I'm going to get the pink and draw that little wall. And because I need 2 more, that would be half of a line. So we would extend. And so the answer laid out in a bar graph, which is what your kids will have to do according to the constructed type responses, is something similar to this. And it'll not be colorful, it'll be black and white, but I think we live in a colorful world, so I try to make it more interesting. Now, for those of you that want to stick to multiple choice, like the way it's going to be this year on the regular test, then you would go to the question 11 in the multiple choice format, and I've asked a similar type problem using the same people, the same information, and what they have to do is take the bar graph that's already given and figure out which list in the choices matches the bar graph. And that was the way it was tested. And so once again, keeping in mind that each line is 4 feet and a half a line is 2 feet, then we know that Jerry would be 12. Andrea, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be 5 times 4 is 20. Gilbert, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4 equals 16. Freddie, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 4 is 24. And since it's half of a line, then we add 2, 26, just like we did with the open-ended way. And Sam would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4 is 20. And half a line is 22. So all we have to do is check one by one. Jerry, 12, yes. Andrea, 20, yes. Gilbert, 16, yes. Freddie, 26, yes. And so if kids are careless and don't check all the choices, they will end up getting one wrong. And so because 20 does not match the 22 that we needed for Sam, we would eliminate letter A. C has them all matching except for Freddie. B has them all matching, so we'll put a question mark there if we're going to think about picking it. And B has them all matching except Gilbert is not 18, Gilbert is 16. And so in all four cases, I went ahead and had all of them match the bar graph except for one. So your kids are gonna have to check all 5 names to make sure the number next to each name in the list matches the bar graph number that it shows. So for this answer, the correct letter, because it's the only one that matches, would be B. So I would suggest you have your kids on paper, go ahead and fill it in. On the Scantron, they would submit it. We would put a little B on the side. And then so that in your book answer, if you're allowed to um, annotate, then we could put a B next to the 11 so that the 11 B in the book would answer the 11 B in the Scantron, because this is an odd number, even if it's an online response, 11 is going to be B regardless of if you're doing paper or computer when you submit your response. So there you have it. That took about 13 minutes to show you both ways. Now, for those of you that are just worried about this year, then go ahead and just focus on the multiple choice portion, because I've made the questions very similar to the difficulty level of the test for both 2019 and 2020 for third and fourth grade so far. I've done it for all grade levels in 2019 and earlier. So if you just message me or put in the comment section what grade level you teach, I can send you a link to your grade level. But this is the 5 senses, practical ways to do difficult strategies using the 5 senses of my common sense math techniques for only $5. $5 for the third grade test, $5 for the fourth grade test. And for right now, you'll be able to get both years and both formats, multiple choice and open-ended, but I kept them separate for those of you that want to practice just working on multiple choice, because that's what this year will be about, except for those of you who are taking the open-ended test next month. But if you are those districts that are needing to practice, then I highly recommend that you work on some of the open-ended, the constructed type responses, because they will be part of your field test in February uh, in math, but also in social studies, science, and ELAR reading. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me. Send me your grade level in the comments or in the message as a message, and I'll make sure I send you a link to the third and fourth grade for these past 2 testing years, and the rest of the grades from 2019 and earlier. So God bless you guys. Hope you had a great new year. Take care.